Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Buckner, a graduate of the Blanchet Farm program and a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic. I want to thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to each of you today. I would like to tell you about how my life was saved because of Blanchet Farm. My arrival at the farm a little more than a year and a half ago was one of divine design. It's hard to believe, but just days before I arrived, I was sleeping in a park, strung out on meth in Beaverton. I had hit bottom. I lost my job, my family, and most of my worldly possessions. You wouldn't know to see me that just a little more than a year before, I was gainfully employed and an active father in my daughter's lives. If not for friends helping me out to get to the farm, I don't know what would have happened to me. I can tell you this, it would not have been good. When I arrived at the farm, I was a shell of who I am today. I was physically exhausted and broken, emotionally devastated, spiritually bankrupt. Common sense and reasoning eluded me. For the first couple of weeks on the farm, I know that I frustrated and tested the patience of both the staff and the fellow residents with my spacey and inconsiderate behavior. Thank the heavens that their patience prevailed. You see, when I arrived, I was only 4 days off drugs and alcohol, and for the first time in 4 years, soberly feeling the full effect of my situation. I hadn't had any contact with my daughters for months. My addiction had cost me custody of my two youngest. I had lost nearly all my physical possessions and was homeless. I hadn't been able to hold down a job for well over a year, primarily because of my drug use, and by that, I had no means or money to provide for myself. I was nearing death, and I was seriously considering taking my own life. Now, at the farm, I had no substance to numb myself of the painful reality crashing down. This is where the staff, residents, and their support came in to save me. The only thing I knew that was my decisions up to this point had cost me everything. I leaned heavily on other residents for support. I admitted that I was an addict, an alcoholic, and that I didn't know what to do. I was given compassion, suggestions, understanding, and probably most importantly, acceptance for where I was. I grabbed hold of these gracious gifts like they were a life preserver thrown to a drowning man. I began to heal. I grew stronger. I began to learn who I was, who I am, and slowly began to love myself. The farm staff's advocacy for residents to receive mental and behavioral health care, in addition to physical health care, was equally paramount in my recovery and progression towards a thriving life. They drove me to doctors and counseling appointments. This was vital and necessary for me. After having gone so long without caring for myself, so much of normal life was foreign to me. Progressing in my recovery while working on the farm was massively therapeutic. I first took care of the animals, then became a cook, making breakfast and lunch for the residents and staff. Eventually, I became the driver. I was given the responsibility to transport fellow residents to and from their appointments and pick up needed food and materials for the farm. The farm allowed me the opportunity to be of service to others and get me out of my self-deprecating, negative, narcissistic thinking that often leads to relapse. Taking on responsibilities that require physical energy be expended has been an important part of my recovery. There aren't other programs that offer this. Because of the 14 months I got to spend healing at Blanchet Farm, I was able to gain sobriety. I was able to get a job, save money, and move out last October. I found an apartment and was able to bring my sister and her two children to live with me. Their presence provides me an extra layer of accountability to maintain my sobriety while helping to provide stability of living for my sister, my niece, and my nephew, the youngest of which suffers from nonverbal autism. I'm also very excited and happy to report I've been reunited with my amazing, intelligent, loving, and beautiful daughters. Girls, would you please stand? This is by far the biggest gift I could have possibly ever asked for. While more healing in body needs to occur, that process has begun. I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for providing me the means to rebuild my life and reunite me with my children. While I haven't had the chance to meet each of you, if you're sitting here today as a resident, a staff member, a board member, or a vital donor, it is because of you that I have a peaceful, productive life. It is because of you that I have my four most cherished beings back in my life, and they have their dad fully present in theirs. Thank you very much.